All right. Rohan Patel, comic book movie. Hey, Kate, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. I love your jacket.
Oh, thank you. I thought I'd get my audition in for season two. So, um, no, I loved what you did with season one. So, congratulations just on the whole series.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been such a thrill just to see all the fan responses and not have to keep the secret of He Who Remains anymore. So no, it's been really fun just watching the reaction over the last few days.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm thrilled for you. And so, like you're saying, the keeping that whole secret. Casting Jonathan Major because it was reported that he was casting Ant Man. So that's kind of sort of alleviate the pressure that you have, like because people are not expecting him to show up in episode six. So how was that like that with Peyton Reed and everything?
Yeah, it was definitely because basically, so when that role was being cast, so basically it was a conversation like with me, with Peyton, and then with Marvel. So we were all discussing the actors, that we thought could be great. And Jonathan was just an actor that all of us were like, oh my God, we'd be so lucky to get him. And I think for me, it kind of was good when that press release came out because it diverted from our show, like everyone was just sort of expecting him to show up in that film. And I obviously knew, oh, well, it's not Kang, but we have a variant of that character in our show, which is so fun, I think. So no, I think it was a massive honor to be part of that and launch him.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was a great introduction, and then it's such like an instantly sort of iconic introduction when the way you swivel him out of the elevator. Was that always the planned introduction for him, or did you guys work with mess around with a few different kinds of?
I think honestly, because the writers had written in that he came out of the elevator, and that was always in there. And I think for me, like there was a kind of like casualness and like in the writing, which was really fun, which Jonathan definitely played with and picked up on, and then obviously made his own. And I think for me, it was from that point, it was kind of going back from that. It was just about tension building. So like with Miss Minutes, I love the idea of the jump scare with her because then already the audience are thinking, oh wait, we just had this horrible jump scare with her, so you almost kind of expect another one then when he appears, and it obviously doesn't happen. Like he's very casually sitting in the elevator and is like, oh hey, what's up, kind of thing, which I think is so fun. And yeah, I think for me it was always about playing with expectations, and I just loved the kind of relaxed nature of his character. I thought that was so fun.
Yeah, yeah. Miss Minutes at like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning scared the shit out of me. So you did a great job there. So like there's that fourth statue that we see. Like there's a bunch of statues, and the fourth one is sort of knocked over. And can we like safely assume that that was Kang or Immortus, or is that someone that we're not allowed to learn about yet? Completely understand. And then there's someone. I mean, you've been asked like everything. So there's something I was curious about because in Endgame we see Thor sort of get some closure with Frigga because when they travel back in time, and then like all moms do, she kind of sets him straight. And but we don't really ever get to see either version of Loki get that same closure. And was
Yeah.
there ever any plans to bring her into the series, or is that something that we can look forward to maybe?
I can't speak on what could be in the future, but in terms of what we did in our show, like I would say that we didn't actually have anything like that. Like I think it was always meant to be a moment of, it's painful what happens to him in Dark World and what happens and through his actions. And I think no, it was always meant to be a moment of, because he loves his mother. I mean, you see it in episode 3 when he talks about how she taught him magic. And I think for us it was more just showing that moment and showing our Loki this horrible future that he would have created.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like the show is also very. It has a personality of its own. Like there's this very unique visual style, and it feels a lot more in line with like what Taika did with Ragnarok. So was that sort of like you took it from there and then you started making it your own? Like, can you speak on where you drew like the inspiration for Asgard and just the whole like this whole new world?
Yeah, sure. So I love Ragnarok, and but I would say like our inspirations were more sort of from I would say it weirdly, like film noir, like kind of detective stories, because I read basically when I first joined the show, I had the first few episodes, the scripts, and I remember reading Alyssa's script, and I was just so excited by the detective element in it, and I thought, well, Loki's like a detective in this episode, and the variant's always attacking from the shadows, and I don't know, I think for me that felt really cool and moody, and also it kind of felt very Loki to me, and it kind of grounded the show in terms of tone as well, because, you know, our show is very dramatic and it is very big in places, and I felt like that kind of visual style would really kind of sit it right tonally, because it wasn't, you know, we have funny moments, but it isn't a pure comedy, our show.
Yeah. And so like you introduce Sylvie, who's like an instant fan favorite, and then we see her get what she wants at the end of at the end of episode 6, but then it's kind of like she doesn't know what's next. So where does she kind of go from here?
I think that's the question, isn't it? Because I think the really key thing to show was that I always think about her emotionally sort of being in the same space that Loki was in Thor. You know, she's driven by revenge and anger, and she just doesn't know where to put this anger. And so she puts it into what she does, obviously, to He Who Remains. And I think it was really important to show that it didn't solve all her problems. You know, you see that look on her face. She doesn't feel cathartic. She doesn't feel good. She still feels this hollowness. So I think wherever she goes, she has like quite a journey to go on. But I don't know. I mean, she's in the Citadel for now, so yeah.
And like, I know it was your decision to not return for season 2, and I'm sure you'll be involved in some capacity, but like, did you sort of draw any sort of parallel to how Sylvie's journey ends, and then like how your journey on the show was kind of ending?
That's so interesting. Not consciously. I think for me, like I'm just so proud of the show, and I love all the work we've done, and I love working with everyone on it. I just think for me, like I always, you know, when I started the show, we were always just the 6 episodes, and I put, you know, I've been on it for I think 2.5 years, and I put everything I had into it, and I just felt like that was my part of the story, if you see what I mean. And I have some other stuff that I had, so yeah, but I'm just so proud to be part of it. But no, that's so funny to compare it to Sylvie. I mean, maybe subconsciously, but not consciously.
And then I guess I just wanted to ask, like, what can you tell? What's the future look like for Throg, the God of Thunder?
Well, I mean, he's in a jar right now, so like, but you know, I mean, maybe well, guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But it was a lot of fun to get him in there, and yeah, I was so pleased to record Chris, and yeah, it definitely felt like, you know, for episode 5, that was a very good place for the Throg to go. So yeah.
No, that was a great little Easter egg. But thank you so much for your time, Kate. I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
I love the show, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. But thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.